Good morning, Facebook people. Welcome to Be Elite Live. I am Ken Sullivan. You know who I am. I'm hosting today. Hope you guys had a fabulous 2017. Today is a good show we're gonna do. Yeah, it's a show. I know we have a show. It's a good show we're gonna go to today, and simply because a lot of people, I just interacting with so many people over the holidays, having clients and obviously having friends, family, seeing it online. I see a lot of people talk about anxiety and what they're going through right now. And I just thought, you know what? Why not talk about this? I think this is a great topic to go over. So I'm going to talk a little bit about how's anxiety dealing with you? How do you deal with it? And then just some simple things you can do to help with it. And you know what? In looking back on it, a lot of people can get very sensitive and without being insensitive to the talk and anxiety. I think we've all had a little bit of it here and there, and some of us had more than others. I know with myself, even looking back on it, I said, you know what? When you really look at what anxiety is, I think I've had some of it, definitely at different points of my life. I think the only thing that's for myself is I don't label it as that. I don't label myself as someone who has anxiety. Or at the time that I did, I didn't say I have anxiety. I just said I'm worrying about something. I have some stress I'm dealing with. And that's one thing I just learned from my parents is I don't label. I really try not to label things because simply then I become it. I become it, I throw my hands up, and that's what I have, and there's nothing I can do about it, and everything perpetuates it. And that's how I look at it. I'm not saying if you call yourself someone who has anxiety, there's anything wrong with that. Just for myself, even if I'm going to get a cold, I don't say I'm getting sick. I do the best I can not to say that I'm sick or that I'm getting sick. I find I just am submitting. And mentally, I feel words have power. So one of the first things I want to talk about is just using different terms. I said maybe not using the term I have anxiety. Maybe talking and saying, yeah, I'm worried today, stressed out. I got a lot on my mind. I said those are different ways of talking about it instead of clinically labeling ourselves as I have anxiety. And that's what it is. And everything that comes with it is I can't change it. And we can. There's a lot of things to change. And we work a lot with clients that have anxiety on anxiety meds. And with the help and the support of their doctor, obviously, we're very successful in getting people off their anxiety meds all the time. I said I haven't had a case where someone couldn't. So a couple things first. There's two ways to look at anxiety. I always say there's chemical, and there's a strong chemical component that you can't get away from, or you can, but that just imparts it. And there's the other part, which is actually behavioral. So we're going to talk about both today. So when you look at it, the first part in the chemical area is, and people always say, oh, I don't want to hear this. I don't want to believe it. But you know what? I really feel everyone should take some sort of mild nutrition course just to understand why would food ever affect my anxiety. And most people who don't understand how the body digests food and what it does with it says, you're stupid, you're just saying that, it's part of your business, that's your hook line, everything has to do with food. But you know what? If you understand how the body digests and what affects by it, you'll understand that food affects everything. And if you say no, then you gotta learn. You really gotta go and learn something and learn real science. That's my rant. But you know, it's important. So if you have foods that always cause your immune system to mobilize and fight, you have an adrenal push. And anything that pushes adrenals is absolutely 100% going to exacerbate anxiety and can also trigger, because anxiety is also a looping effect. It's a loop. We do the same things all the time, and our system jumps steps. And all of a sudden, if you have foods that you're eating regularly that push adrenal response, you're going to have more anxiety. I see it with clients all the time, especially in a time when they start adding foods in that they normally don't, and especially foods like wheat, dairy, corn, soy, all the allergens, the known ones, or ones that we don't know, ones that you have immunity issues to that you just don't know, and it's pushing the crap out of your system. And I guarantee you, if every day at 9 o'clock you have toast, you know what I mean? It's going to push your anxiety the same way as if every day at 9 o'clock you get attacked. It's going to happen. So that's the first thing you have to do is identify foods that are pushing an immune response or an adrenal response. And you have to remove them. I'm not sorry. It's tough, but it's like, do you want to have anxiety or do you want to feel better? And that's what I tell myself if I, get all wishy-washy with why I have to do this. Sometimes you just got to let your system heal. pull the foods out. That's number one. You got to take them out. Pull out the known ones: wheat, dairy, corn, soy. Dyes. Dyes are huge. We don't talk about dyes in foods, but dyes, colors. If you do any research on the dyes in your food, you will see what they do for your brain response, your reactions, everything from your reaction time to your sleep. So pull those out. Those are massive. You go to Europe, you're not going to see those dyes in foods. So pull those out, especially, and sugar as well. Sugar pushes an adrenal response, disrupts brain function, clogs it up in there. So that's that part. Also, what people say, what can I take? Just, because we're a take society. Give me something quick. Geez. Okay, if you've done your food and you've done that already, taurine is great. I would say taurine, bang for your buck, is probably like, taurine, isn't that a bodybuilding thing? Isn't that something that you take to, pop your pecs and get more muscular? Yeah, taurine not only will it help you with muscular recovery, but it does a lot of things. It'll actually help you sleep better, believe it or not. And if you sleep well, your anxiety goes down. 100%. And I'm going to talk on Friday about depression so people can understand the difference chemically, hormonally, what the differences are. Because there are some differences with it. If you don't sleep and you have anxiety, you're going to be depressed. That's a guarantee. But we're going to talk about that Friday. So taurine is great for actually dealing with anxiety. It's probably one of the best things that I would recommend for that, because it also helps build GABA. And GABA is one of the things that stops your brain from looping and doing that worry kind of syndrome. So GABA is huge for that. And that's why I know I'm someone that has obviously had that kind of worrying, issue, because I am GABA deficient. So having taurine in your lifestyle will be great for sleep, and it'll be great for GABA, which means your worrying will be less, which means your anxiety issues or your feelings on anxiety will be much better. So that's probably the number one supplement I'd look in there. Yeah. Also, I find D3 is really good for anxiety. A lot of people say, really, D3? But if you look at people that live in the hospitals that have in the ward that has more cognitive issues and issues with brain and brain function, brain mood, and everything else, brain disorders, they're all on high levels of D3. Also, because a lot of them aren't getting outside, seeing sunlight. But you'll find that that's a big protocol for them, also for their mood and their health and their mental health and their ability to deal with stress. So D3 is huge. Not only will you have a better immune system, it'll actually help with your mood, your happiness. And that's why sunlight is such a big part of us being happy. We need that D3 to push off that anxiety and that feeling. So D3 is huge. Vitamin D Council talks about 5,000 IUs and higher. So, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not going to say you must take this amount, but, that's what is on the Vitamin D Council. They say try to keep upwards of 5,000 IUs in your body, especially in high stressful times. North of the border there, we need higher sometimes. So those are some simple food and chemical things you can look at. Behavioral. Let's look at the other side now. Behavioral is huge, and most people say, come on, man, I don't want to deal with this hokey pokey stuff about breathing and yoga. And I'm like, well, then you can go and have anxiety grip your life. At some point, it's our mental part that has to deal with it. How do you deal with stress mentally? That's huge. If your brain is what needs to be trained, you have to do something with it. And a lot of times with anxiety, we are worrying about things that haven't happened, where you hear about it all the time, but it's true. We are worried about the possibilities. For me, I would run scenario after scenario. Okay, what about this? And if this happens, I'm going to do this. And if that happens, I'll do that. What if that happens? How will I do that? How will I respond? How should I breathe? And it's like, it just goes on forever. So a lot of times, how do I stop that? Or how do I help people stop that? You have to stop jumping to the future. Stop worrying about things that haven't happened. So a lot of times in the past, yes, you got it, Allison, you got it. That's the only way. But if you don't have the basis, which is your nutrition, whatever, you can't do that. So base 1, get your nutrition in there. Base 2, when you look at it, wear a hair tie. If you're a female, if you're a male, have an elastic band on there, one of those Live Strong bracelets. And a lot of times, every time I jump to the future, I would snap it. Just a little reminder. It's not pain. It's not like a negative, it's not aversive stimuli. It's just more like, whoa, just a reminder. Oh, geez, I did it again. Oh, geez, I did it again. And every time I think about the future, I do a little snap to myself. Just a reminder, hey, buddy, where are you going? Hey, buddy, where are you going? And sometimes I would do it 50 times in a day. Sometimes I'd break the band. I'm like, oh my gosh, I snapped it over 100 times. That's how many times I jumped to the forward worrying about something that hasn't happened yet. And that helped me over time, over about a couple weeks. I snapped it less, and I could catch it in my brain first. I could, I don't even have to snap. I would catch it halfway before I was about to pull the band, and it would help. But once again, how do you do that then? Your brain has to be stronger to will it to do that. And I found, I'm going to say it, breathing, meditation, qigong, tai chi, yoga, whatever you want to call it, you have to take time. Guided meditation for people that can't do it. You have to take time to strengthen your brain. You can't expect your brain to work, underwater when it's choking all of a sudden. You have to train it in those uncomfortable things. Now that means holding a downward dog, in a hot yoga class, keeping it together. If you can do it then, you can do it somewhere else. But you got to train your brain. And the more I had stress, the higher I did my breathing, my energy work, whatever, my practice for my brain, and I found I could deal with my stress better. That's my kids, that's any of my clients. That's what we have done to help people kind of get where they need to be. And then you can actually do the things you need to do. But you got to train the source. And yeah, 5 minutes, 10 minutes a day, morning or night, whatever you can start with, just do something. And you'll find it will help, I guarantee you. Lastly, write stuff down. For anxiety people, you gotta write stuff down, get it out of your head. So when you put your head on the pillow, you're not thinking about it so much. You're not thinking. You watch, if my kids watch a bad movie, my son will say this, Daddy, I need to journal because I gotta get the thoughts out of my brain. Maybe you shouldn't watch the scary movie, but whatever. Or the movie with shooting in it or anything else. But if he journals, he's recognized that he doesn't have bad dreams, which means his mind isn't going, which means he doesn't wake up in the middle of the night. And my son's 8, so he's figured that out already. Electromagnetic is last. It pushes adrenal response. Electromagnetics push flight or fight mode in your body. And anything that puts you into flight or fight will exacerbate your anxiety again. So really keep an eye on that. I said, holding our cell phone 50 times a day, people laughing, what, so put my cell phone down and that's going to make my anxiety go away? Oh yeah, if you're not going into flight or fight mode 50 times a day, I guarantee you your anxiety will be less, but we want it now. We want it like in a minute, and if it doesn't happen in a minute, it doesn't work, and that's garbage. It takes time. It takes time to create a baby. It doesn't, I made a baby in one night. Oh, maybe I did, but it grew in one night. It takes time. That's how we are as humans, so give it time, okay? Try it. Check your cell phone less every day. Turn it off at certain times. Don't have it by your bedside. Don't have it in your pocket. Don't have it in your chest working out. I guarantee you, your adrenals, your nervous system will not be in flight or fight mode as much. And as a result, it'll calm down. Oh, I forgot. Magnesium is probably the #1 element out there to deal with stress. So if you don't have magnesium in your system, you're going to have issues possibly. It's not about sleep. It's about stress. That's why I take magnesium. It's not so I can sleep, it's so I can handle stress better. Put your magnesium back in, I guarantee your stress will be better as well. So those are some tips on anxiety. I hope to help. Please, please, please share this with people that have, anxiety issues. Share it with a friend that may have it, or a coworker or someone. Tell them to check this post out. If they need to contact me to talk about it, great. I'm not without anxiety. I've dealt with it many times. I just don't call it that. I call it something else. And that's your first step. I tell people, don't call it anxiety. Call it something else. So have a great day, guys. I know a little bit passionate about that, but it's something that's very close to me. So have a great day, guys. Friday, I'll be talking about depression, how to deal with it, why it happens, the different chemicals we have to deal with, and we'll go from there. So have a great Monday. Enjoy your day. Share it with your friends. Bart will be back Wednesday at 9 a.m. Beatley Live. Hi, Vanessa. Great party with the Falcons on New Year's Eve. Great family. Love these guys. But have a great day, and good luck in your 2017. We'll see you soon.